Tonight on Denver 7 News at 6.
We have evidence of inequities across our city and our state.
The well-off are getting their vaccines first. Doctors say this disparity must be addressed.
There's a lot of work to be done.
Plus, snow turns I-25 into a parking lot and sends a half dozen people to the hospital.
2 people are shot at an Arvada store, and deputies believe it was random.
It was very functional. It's almost like a testing environment.
And Denver7 goes back to school. We have to tell you, it's changed since we were there.
Personally, I love it.
Well, the only thing getting through I-25 today has been the ambulances. Pileups snarled traffic near Loveland for hours this afternoon. Several people were hurt. All survived.
Thankfully, a FedEx truck was ripped to shreds along I-70 near Glenwood Springs. And state troopers are now saying cleanup could last into Thursday. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson's tracking the system responsible for this mess. And Mike, the snow is letting up, but it's definitely chilly out there.
Temperatures have a long way to fall, even if the snowflakes are mostly done falling. This is the view downtown. You see snow on the ground and traffic moving slowly along Lincoln and Broadway. As far as snow totals, one of the heavier ones, about 5 inches near Estes Park, 4 at Conifer, and 1 to 2 most of the rest of the Front Range, although DIA officially only about a half an inch of snow. It does continue, but it's getting smaller and weaker in the echoes we see on radar. There's heavier snow out in the far eastern plains. There's still advisories down south till 11 o'clock tonight for southeastern Colorado. But damage is done. Snow's on the ground. The temperatures are falling, and so what's icy out there will stay that way. Right now, 17 in Denver, down to 11 at Lyman. We'll drop to the single digits by early tomorrow morning, and that means the roads and the side streets and sidewalks are going to stay slick until about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. It gets better as the day goes on, and there's a big warming trend after that. I'll let you know which day we hit 60 degrees.
I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Mike. Denver's map of where the vaccine is being administered contains more than a few areas in need of filling in.
Affluent neighborhoods like Central Park and Cherry Creek are dyed there in that deep purple, a color that denotes a high number of shots have been distributed.
Montbello is noticeably lighter. Lincoln Park, with its proud Latino heritage, is white. Currently, only 5 out of every 1,000 people living in that neighborhood has been vaccinated.
Well, public health leaders have picked up on that disparity as well. And today, Denver7's Sloan Dickey asked them what they plan to do about it.
With little more than 6% of Colorado's population vaccinated against COVID-19, disparities in community access are already beginning to emerge.
We know which neighborhoods and zip codes have the highest incidence of COVID disease per population, and we know which have the lowest vaccination rates, and they tend to be the same neighborhoods.
And there's one more statistic that ties them all together.
In general, in communities where COVID spreads faster, there are higher levels of poverty and more dense living arrangements.
Hospitals across Colorado are working to push against inequities in vaccine distribution before they arise. Among other initiatives, Denver Health has created a mobile vaccine unit to reach underserved communities in the city.
It's on us to make sure that we do our best to overcome those barriers.
But it's not just access that's fueling disparities.
Those racial ethnic communities in Colorado are getting the vaccine even less than others. And in doing so, then we really have to figure out why that is.
Dr. OZZIE GRENARDO is on the Colorado Vaccine Equity Task Force. He says lack of trust in the healthcare system in some minority communities plays a major role.
I think what's important is the message that comes from those who are delivering it, and those people who are delivering it really being people that are trusted.
But the biggest hurdle, a supply chain from the federal government that so far has failed to meet demand.
Demand is certainly outstripping the supply. And so the more information and the more supply that we have, hopefully we'll be able to better meet the needs of really our community.
Sloan Dickey, Denver7.
The Colorado Sun was first to report on discrepancies involving vaccine distribution. The article is free to read online.
Now, as if on cue, State Senator Julie Gonzalez announced tonight that 3 drive-up vaccine clinics are coming to Denver's Lincoln Park neighborhood this weekend. They will be held Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Servicios de la Raza on West 14th. You must call 720-410-7108, have to be 70, and make an appointment in advance.
The White House said today it will purchase another 200 million doses of the vaccine from Moderna and Pfizer. Shipments will also be boosted by 17% next week.
And both moves come as President Biden attempts to accelerate distribution and create a plan where the previous administration did not. In the meantime, anyone with questions about the vaccine can contact the state's newly established hotline. And listen, you should also be prepared to wait. We called at 4:45. Someone finally picked up at 5:30. The state says it will add staffing if these problems persist.
Another 1,100 cases and 42 deaths reported in Colorado tonight. The state could surpass 5,000 deaths by next week. Tonight, 740 people are in the hospital. The daily positivity rate now above 7%, but despite the ups and downs, that figure does keep showing signs of improvement.
Promising numbers aside, this is no time for complacency, not with 3 highly contagious mutations of the virus spreading across the globe. The so-called Brazil strain was detected Monday in Minnesota. 10 cases of the UK variant have been identified in Colorado.
I think we just don't know at this point how rapidly we might see that variant increase. And obviously what we need to do right now to minimize how quickly we see this variant spread in the state and in the country is to maintain all of those things that we've been doing the last couple of months that have been successful. So social distancing, mask wearing, all of those strategies that have been working for us.
The vaccine is expected to be at least somewhat effective against these strains currently circulating. More research, of course, is needed.
Well, good luck trying to cheat off your friend's test this semester. Denver Public Schools have put up plexiglass and curtains to keep students safe. The kids love it. The teachers aren't sold, and Denver7's Russell Haythorne has their story.
For high school students in Denver, it's been a long road back.
Personally, I love it. I mean, I haven't been back since March, so I just get to see some friends now, and I can talk to my teachers.
These freshmen returned today.
Easier than online. You understand more, and you actually get to see a lot of other things.
It was very functional. It's almost like a testing environment, you know, everyone's quiet.
Snapshots inside a classroom show just how different things will be as students start returning this week.
You also will see, in some cases, plastic dividers between the desk or between the teacher and the students.
DPS spokeswoman Winna McLaren says the district is as prepared as it can be.
We have done a lot of work to make sure that we are reopening our schools as safe as possible.
She says about 60% of Denver high school students have opted to return for in-person learning.
It feels like a classroom, like it's actually very welcoming.
But while many are enthusiastic, some teachers remain critical.
I'm mad at the district, I'm mad at parents who send their kids to school when the conditions are not safe.
This teacher, who asked not to be identified, said they'll be teaching both in person and online at the same time.
It's a really weird phenomenon to have one group in front of you in the classroom and then other groups that are still virtual. The new challenge is waiting to hear from your virtual students so that you're not overlooking them.
DPS says it is listening and working constantly to make things better.
We've heard it all. It is a balancing act.
While students say there is excitement.
Yeah, a lot.
Oh yeah, high school is definitely a lot cooler than any other school that we've been to.
Russell Haythorne, Denver7.
A shooting at an Arvada Dollar General store appears to be random. Adams County deputies say a man and woman were checking out when a guy walked in and started shooting, and the suspect got away. And witnesses told investigators nothing out of the ordinary happened before the shooting.
Adams County deputies shot and killed a woman overnight following a chase along I-76. Deputies say the woman was in a stolen car and had a gun. Her name's not been released. A Colorado inmate will be allowed to sue the corrections officer who shot him during an escape attempt. Brian ESTRADA was going through a routine hearing at the Logan County Courthouse in 2018 when he tried to make a break for it. 4 officers went after him. Only one of them fired, shooting ESTRADA 4 times. That officer recently requested the excessive force claims against him be dismissed, but in response, a federal judge noted that ESTRADA's hands and feet were shackled, found that shooting him was unnecessary, and ruled the case could proceed.
Boulder District Attorney Michael Doherty, Denver DA Beth McCann, and Attorney General Phil Weiser are among the prosecutors, police chiefs, and sheriffs to sign a letter urging for an end to the federal death penalty. Prior to the Trump administration, there had been no federal executions in 17 years. President Trump's Justice Department carried out 13.
A major corporation failed her. Denver7 viewers would not.
I don't know what to say. it is very emotional.
Snow tapering off tonight, but temperatures dropping to the single digits by morning.